The Sweat. Masters analysis unlike any other. From the first tee to the 18th hole, The Sweat has you covered. Bogeys, pars, birdies. Monday through Friday, DraftKings social channels. The best Masters coverage on the internet. Probably. Hole in one. Gonna need a mulligan. Bingo, bango, bongo. Eagle. Why did that have a question mark? Hole in one. Hello, friends, and welcome to a tradition that we are starting right now at this very moment. It's a Masters special, a special edition of The Sweat.
Yep.
Presented by DraftKings, Emerson Lancia, alongside Masters champion Jesse Cofield. Congratulations.
Happy to be here. Happy to grace you with my presence.
Incredible.
Jeff, Len, Jason Sobel, we got the whole crew joining us. We're going to talk Masters, DFS, and bets. So we're going to break it down from all perspectives. Gojo is going to join us as well, and we're going to talk to them about their Masters dinner menu. Can't wait to hear what that's going to be about. And Sepp Straka is going to join the program. He's going to speak with you. That's so cool.
Indeed. Cannot wait for that. So we're going to start off here with a little bit of price check. We're going to preview this course. We're going to talk about the weather because it's going to get gross and who it may or may not benefit. But a couple fun factoids for everybody. 86th edition here, Jesse, of the Masters, defending champion. We all know Scotty Scheffler. We will hear much more about his menu at the Champions Dinner last night. Scotty-style sliders with French fries on them.
Oh, nice. 88 players in the field. We got 20 former Masters champs part of this year's field. Very exciting. And then 5 PGA Tour members making their tournament debut. So are any of these guys going to, maybe make a run here? I don't know.
I have no idea, but that's why we have guys like Jeff Ulrich here and Len Hochberg on the horn as we see a eagle-eyed view of this course approaching 100 years of life on this planet. So slightly longer than last year, Jeff Ulrich, by 35 yards. I think it's mainly, the 13th hole, right, that everyone is talking about. It's going to play a little differently. What are the key holes? What are the key stretches that we need to be aware of entering this year's edition of the Masters, dude?
Yeah, so 13th hole lengthened a little bit as well. They lengthened the 15th as well. 2 years ago, the year before Hideki won, they stretched that out. They're trying to make these par fives a little bit tougher. The key stretch, though, for me, is the 11th, the 10th through basically the 12th. They also lengthened the 11th hole a little bit. They made the fairways wider. They made it tougher, essentially, on the approach 2 years ago as well. Hitting greens here is already tough, but now that they've taken a hole like the 11th and made it even tougher, getting through 10 to 12 without a bogey on your card is going to be a heroic feat. And again, I think that speaks to the whole setup of the course, that what we've seen the last 2 years is, yes, supreme ball strikers, Scotty Scheffler and Hideki Matsuyama have won, but their greens and their green around the green play, is what I'm trying to say. Their around the green play has been immaculate. Both guys ranked in top 5 in strokes gained around the green play for the week. You're going to see more missed greens in regulation, and with those par 5s, 13 and 15 now playing a little bit longer, a little bit tougher, I think that's only going to come into play more. You're going to have less players having eagle chances, more players having to scramble around those greens. So the lengthened course just makes it tougher. I think it puts more stress on the guys around the green play.
What do you think here, Len?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that Jeff said there. And yeah, 15 last year, the longer they lengthened that hole, and there were 0 eagles on 15 last year. So they got the desired effect there. It would be very surprising, especially with the weather. And I know we're going to talk about that with the lengthened 13 hole, if there are going to be any eagles there. 10 and 11, like Jeff said, are very, very critical, long 500-ish par 4s, just brutes holes. roots of a hole. 11 was the fourth hardest hole on the entire PGA Tour last year. And even though we look at 16, 17, and 18 as not the hardest holes, when you're trying to win the Masters and your nerves are just going out of your body, then of course those are just incredibly critical as well.
All right, well, something that you don't want to worry about for Masters Week is the weather, right? But a lot of rain in the forecast here, drastic temperature changes. There could be delays, sloppy conditions. You're taking a look at the forecast. There could be some wind. I mean, this is not looking good, all right? It's going to get messy. It's going to get sloppy. Len, who in this field do you think could benefit from these sloppy conditions?
Well, the longest hitters who already have an advantage to begin with will have even more of an advantage. The ones with the longest carry, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Cameron Young, Cameron Champ, who seems to play only well 1 week out of the year, but picks a pretty good week to play well. So, yeah, and also at the other end, the greens will be slower if there's a lot of rain, and they will not be as tough. And then the poorer putters can get into the mix as well, where maybe we wouldn't normally consider them. So this is just crazy weather coming in, 40 degree temperatures much of the day on Saturday, reminiscent of Zach Johnson, one of the shortest Masters hitters ever. He won in 2007 in really bad conditions.
All right, Jeff, looking at this field, I mean, who do you think could have a little bit of an edge due to the weather?
Yeah, no, I mean, getting specific, or let's get general before we get specific. I mean, I think generally the bad weather just brings more players into play. The course may play a little bit longer, but it's going to play tougher for everyone. Like I said, the green and regulation percentages go down. That puts more of an emphasis on putting in the short game. And I think it actually allows players like Zach Johnson, Danny Willett, who both won when the winning score was, around 6 under par or worse. I think Zach Johnson won at like 1 under par. I can't remember, but again, these players do benefit, even though they're shorter hitters. It's strange, but it's true. Mike Weir also won when it was extremely wet and poor conditions the season he won. So 3 shorter hitters right there. But getting specific, I mean, you've got to like players with good Open Championship records, and you've got to like players who've just been trending well in the strokes gained around the green category and tee to green. I think Tommy Fleetwood is an excellent candidate. What we've seen from him is some massive performances tee to green already this season, and his around the green game has been carrying him. Been gaining multiple strokes there. Jordan Spieth is another one. Around the green has been great for Jordan Spieth all season. He's been a little bit up and down with the putter, a little bit up and down sometimes off the tee, but Jordan Spieth around the green has been excellent. Those are 2 players right off the top you're going to want to target. And let's not forget the guy who basically won in just a monsoon/slop fest in 2019 at the Open, Shane Lowry. He loves these kinds of conditions.
Yeah, Zach Johnson winning with a score of 1 over Jeff Ulrich. But yeah, slower and more unpredictable greens is what this weather could definitely dish out. Did you see too? There was the specific measurements of grass, the way that it is cut, Jeff. Like the other day, it was floating around on Twitter. So you got to think like the taller grass there could obviously hinder approach shots if mowers can't cruise and cover the ground because of the more soaked turf. Could get a little nasty. Let's go to PGA Tour price check here, Jeff. Favorite, Scotty Scheffler. We know his track record here. It's not very long, but it is certainly powerful. 11-1, the only dude over 11K. Not too shabby, though. Right underneath him, you got Jon Rahm. You have Rory McIlroy. Which of these guys are you going to pay up for, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer, if you're going to pay up for one of the top 3 players this week, that it would be Scotty Scheffler. I mean, there's really nothing else that needs to be said about Scotty Scheffler. To me, he is just the most all-around, most consistently all-around player in the world. You can make talent arguments on Rahm and Rory McIlroy, but what Scotty Scheffler has done, not only just in the lead-up the last 2 years, but just to this course in general. I mean, the around-the-green game with him is so consistent. His putter seems to show up at the right time. He doesn't get himself in a ton of trouble off the tee. So Scotty Scheffler, to me, actually sets up perfectly for these conditions, because what have we seen from him? Winning at Bay Hill, winning at TPC Scottsdale, not necessarily in like the lowest scoring conditions. I think with Rahm and Rory, you're getting players who prefer to be able to just, make some immaculate shots, love the more perfect conditions. Scotty Scheffler, to me, is more of a grinder. He likes it when the condition gets tough. That's when he picks up his wins. And if you're going to pay up all the way. and go with Scotty for the repeat.
All right, Len, what is the path to fitting more than one in your lineup? Is that even a thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was actually toying around with this, playing with this, and even let's not use Scotty Scheffler as an example because he is the highest price guy. And I agree with everything that Jeff said there. And I think under the weather conditions, his temperament is so perfect. Nothing seems to bother him. I don't think that even the weather would bother him. So it's just another thing in Scotty Scheffler's favor right there. But let's put Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy in a lineup, the number 2 and number 3 guys. I even made a lineup with Xander Schauffele in there, a third guy, and then I went into 3 guys in the 6,000s who I like, Gooch, Na, and Mackenzie Hughes. And, let's break it down. 88 guys in the field. There are 14 amateurs and older champs who I'm throwing out right away. I don't know if any of them will make the cut, maybe one or so. That leaves 74 guys, 50 plus make the cut. That's 2/3 of the field will make the cut. $6,000 guys will make the cut. Don't fear them. And therefore, I would, we always talk about the winner coming from that select group of maybe 12, 14 guys. Try and get as many of those guys in your lineup as possible, and then backfill with the 6,000s who you think can make the cut. A lot of them will.
Well, Len, if your strategy is to not pay all the way up, the list of names in the 8 and 9K range, very long, very star-studded. Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson, Cam Smith, just to name a few. Who stands out in a crowded field here?
Yeah, a lot of them do stand out. Jordan Spieth, Jordan Spieth's only finished in the top 20 in the Masters once in the past 4 years. I know we think of him of win, second, third. But he is trending in the right direction. He almost had 2 wins. I know almost is a loaded word, but he came very close to 2 wins in the Florida swing and it's kind of kicked him away. But the point is his game is trending in the right direction, and we always know how good he can be here. Patrick Cantlay, I saw something on Twitter this week that talking about how Patrick Cantlay has never contended in a major. Patrick Cantlay was leading the 2019 Masters with 3 holes to go. He eagled 15 to take the lead. Then he bogeyed 16 and 17th in the end, and he ended up 9th. So it doesn't look like he really was contending. And some other guy won in 2019, can't quite remember his name right now. But Patrick Cantlay at $9,500. And you mentioned Dustin Johnson, $8,800. Most years, this is not a normal year. He would be a steal at $8,800 and one of the guys who could benefit from the longer drives necessary in the poor weather. And $8,700, Jason Day, could be the bargain of the entire field. The way he's been playing, he's really one of the top 5 or 6 players this season so far. And he is way down at 87. He could fit in every lineup.
Jeff, Tony Finau is sitting at 8,900 right
guy.
there. His last win in Houston came in tough conditions here.
Sure did. Look, this range is absolutely loaded. We could just talk about this range for the entire show. You can certainly build lineups around this range too, but Tony Finau at 8,900 to me looks just a little bit underpriced. I mean, again, you talk about what he's done over the last 8 to 10 months, won 3 times, and his last win, as you mentioned, came on a 7,400 plus golf course. It came. 3 of his 5 wins have come on bent grass greens. His around the green game last season was really picking up. Now it's tailed off a little bit this season, and that's kind of what's kept him from contending. But everything about Finau, I mean, it's just gaining 3 strokes on approach, gaining over 6 strokes tee to green every single week. This is a player who just looks absolutely prime, just going about his business, ready to take on the first major championship of the season. So, yeah, would you like to maybe have seen him contend once? I guess, but kind of like Patrick Cantlay, he's just kind of sitting there. And Tony Finau has really, really good course history. He got a front seat to Tiger in 2019. I think that speaks volumes for his chances this week. But he's not the only one in this range either. Max Homa at 9,200. I feel like people are going to overlook Max Homa. Do people forget that basically the only person other than Jon Rahm and to challenge Jon Rahm and Scotty Scheffler this year has been Max Homa? A couple shots away from winning twice already. Where does Max Homa perform his best? Riviera, Torrey Pines? He doesn't have the greatest record at Augusta, but he's only played here 3 times. It's a completely different player than we've seen even like 12 months ago. Max Homa's self-belief is through the roof. I think at 9,200, this is his year to make some noise at the Masters as well. So Finau, Homa, two guys I really love in that range. And Len already mentioned Jason Day and Jordan Spieth, who I think the conditions are setting up perfectly for. We're talking about two of the best around the green games in the last 20 years in Spieth and Day, and they're both playing at the top of their game. So 4 guys right off there that I think you should be building around.
Jeff, we'll talk about Tiger Woods coming up more with Jason Sobel from a sports betting perspective. But right now, talking DFS, nobody knows Augusta better than Tiger Woods here. Where do you sit on him and the possibility of adding him to your DFS lineups here? Because a key, as you know, Jeff, in winning these big tournaments is having as many golfers as possible make the cut, make the weekend. He's made the cut 22 times in a row.
He has. I mean, like, and again, like that does have some value when we're talking about a $7,300 play. We're not talking about Tiger Woods at 8,500 or 8,900. You don't have to roster Tiger Woods over Tony Finau this week. We're talking about him in a range with Siwoo Kim, with Patrick Reed. Obviously, there's upside in players like that as well, but those guys also have a lower floor where we could see Siwoo Kim or Patrick Reed perhaps even miss the cut here this week. I think if you're going to play Tiger Woods, there's a couple different ways you can play it. Obviously, you can allocate a certain percentage of your lineups and maybe just go overweight on Tiger Woods. You're not going to have to use too many. But the other way is, maybe play him in wave stacks. Maybe play him in skill set stacks. If you're targeting veteran players like Justin Rose, put Tiger Woods in there too. We see veterans pop up at Augusta all the time. Justin Rose was the first-round leader 2 years ago. We've seen Charlie Hoffman do it as well. Tiger could absolutely come out here, put in a couple good rounds, and maybe make a weekend run. I don't necessarily love the fact that this is going to be cold weather for a guy who's had so many surgeries, but at the same time, he's well rested. He looked really good at the Genesis. I think you can mix him in. Again, not the top player in this range by any means for him, but for me, I think there's better upside with a guy like Siwoo Kim, but Tiger can absolutely be on your list this week, and you shouldn't feel too bad about it.
Len, what do you think? Biggest question is, can he hold up physically and in this nasty weather that is expected this weekend?
Yeah, I got an up-close look at him at Riviera a couple of months back. I was inside the ropes, one of the great sporting thrills of my life. And it's just an incredible dichotomy to see someone who is a world-class athlete, an elite golfer, swing, ball speed, you name it, everything, and then he has trouble walking to his next shot. It's just incredible. And as the weather forecast gets worse and worse this week, his chances get worse and worse. As Jeff mentioned, every ailing body part is, the cold weather is a kryptonite for him. I originally had him 19th in my rankings, moved him down to 27th. I don't even know. I hate to say this. I really wonder about a made cut now. And imagine if he has to play more than 18 holes, if there's a rain delay and he has to play 27 one day. I just don't even see how that's possible under his in these conditions. And I don't know if I would. It's fun to play Tiger. You want to root for Tiger, but with my head over my heart, I don't know if I could put him in any lineups, unfortunately.
Minus 165 to make the cut on the DK Sportsbook, which again, we'll talk some Tiger bets coming up.
Yes, we will. Thank you guys. Stick around. Coming up later, we're going to get the best bets for the Masters, so we'll take a look at it from a sports betting perspective. We just hit DFS. But if you want to get an edge on the 2023 Masters, which I know you do, check out the Masters betting guide that VSiN puts out, so you can find it at vsin.com/subscribe. The guides, they are only for subscribers, you guys. VSiN will get you on board for $9.99. Then you get the guide. You also get all the other great shows. You get articles. You get resources that they offer every day. So we are going to be right back with the Gojo Gang. But first, Emerson, you had the opportunity to sit down with Sepp Straka, very cool, and discuss his second shot at the Masters. Take a look.
Oh, man. Look out for Sepp. Gotta go up right at it. Gotta go right at it. Why not? Good looking. How about that? What a start there for Sepp Straka.
Okay, game faces, people, because we have a man here joining us now who will be teeing it up at Augusta National this week. A man who picked up his first win at the Honda Classic. A man who's been ranked as high as 25th in the world, currently 32, which is still fantastic. Sepp Straka, thanks for making time for DraftKings, dude. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
All right, I was today years old when I found out Sepp is not your actual first name. What is it?
It's Joseph. Yeah, Sepp's a nickname in Austria for Joseph.
Okay, there you go, folks. The more you know. And we know you made your first appearance at the Masters last year, finishing T30. What did you learn from last year's experience, Sepp, that you will carry with you into this year?
I feel like I learned a lot. Anytime you can play that golf course under tournament conditions, I feel like it just helps you because there's so many little things about that course where course management can really help you. And I feel like every round I kind of learned sometimes where to hit it and sometimes where not to hit it. So I think anytime you can get a round under competition in there, it's a huge advantage.
And I know you grew up in the States in Valdosta, Georgia, around 4 hours, I believe, south of Augusta. How nice is that for you and the family?
It's amazing. It's definitely always been a dream. It's always been my favorite major. My mom's whole family's from Georgia, so went to University of Georgia just down the road, and it's always been a dream come true just to play last year, and just makes you more hungry to get there every year again.
Who's making the trip with you this year?
The whole family's coming. My wife will be there, my brother, my parents, and a few friends will come out too. So got a full slate.
Yeah, you mentioned going to the University of Georgia. I believe you attended there. You played golf there with your twin brother. You've had him on the bag from time to time. How often does he caddy for you?
Occasionally. He really just kind of fills in when he's needed. He doesn't want to do it full time. So, but yeah, he's a great caddy. He's a really good golfer himself, and I love having him around anytime I can.
But wait, he caddied for you at St. Andrews, right, for the Open last year?
He did, yeah. He didn't do too good there.
No. Has he asked if you needed any help this week at the Masters?
No, I think he knew this one was not on the schedule for him. So I think my caddy Davenport would probably break his leg before he let him caddy that one.
For sure. So there's the history, Sepp. There's the competition, the azaleas, the food. What's your favorite part about the Masters experience?
The barbecue sandwiches are pretty great.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely number one. But just the tradition, just growing up watching it in Austria till 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
Just those memories is the special thing about it.
I mean, food at the Masters is so cheap. You could order one of everything, and it would only cost you $60. That's incredible.
It's crazy. It's amazing how they do that.
So before playing last year, how many times had you been to the Masters, like as a fan?
I had never been to the Masters, or actually I'd been to the Masters practice rounds twice.
Okay.
Never actually to a tournament round. But we got to play it once a year in college.
Oh, that's
usually
sick.
around February, March. So that was always a really special day.
All right, how many pimento cheese sandwiches have you crushed?
Too many.
I love that,
Too
dude.
many to count, probably.
Right? All right, well, speaking of food, you have cheeseburger sliders, you have firecracker shrimp, tortilla soup, ribeye steak, chocolate chip cookies. This is not a Chili's to-go menu here, Sepp. This is Scotty Scheffler's Champions Dinner menu. What grade are you giving this spread?
I'll probably give it a B+.
Nice.
It's pretty, I'm sure it's going to be incredible.
Yes.
Everything on that menu sounds amazing. And for me, a B+ was pretty good in college. So I'm definitely not snubbing him there.
All right, give us your Champions Dinner menu for next year after you win this thing.
Definitely going schnitzel. Got to kind of work out the rest of it, but definitely going with a schnitzel.
All right, we know your beverage of choice. We know you're going to have Diet Coke.
Yeah.
On the menu for sure. It says right there on the official PGA Tour website in your bio, travels to tournaments with Diet Coke if he knows the event provides Pepsi products. When did the Diet Coke obsession start?
Early on. I've always kind of liked Diet Coke more than the regular drinks. And it really kind of, in high school, a couple of my friends liked Diet Coke too. So we just kind of got on a little bit of a kick, and I never really got off of it.
I mean, how the hell do you not have a Diet Coke sponsorship right now? The headquarters are located in your state of Georgia, for crying out loud, in Atlanta.
That's a great question. I would love it. So if anybody from Diet Coke's listening, just give me a shout.
Yeah, we got you, dude. We could team up on that one, crush it together. Back to actual golf here, Sepp. What's the greatest strength of your game, and where do you see it helping you as you navigate Augusta National?
I would say the biggest strength is probably driving. I'm usually a pretty accurate driver of the ball, and that's kind of helped me throughout my career and kind of been something I could rely on. So, Augusta National, you got to be able to kind of put yourself in positions on the key holes, and you got to be able to kind of shape it both ways with off the tee, which I can do.
Well, that's going to definitely help you this year on 13, that iconic par 5 that is going to play now 545 yards, up 35 yards from last year. What is your favorite hole at Augusta?
I haven't played the new 13 yet, but that was up there for sure.
Yep.
I love that hole. It's such a good risk reward because even if you're standing there with a 4-iron, 5-iron in your hand, the ball's way above your feet and the creek is right there. You can't bail out left. So it's just such a good risk reward hole where you just got to pull off a shot. So that's definitely up there.
I mean, it may not be as fun once the ball gets rolled back, too, if that ends up being a thing. But I know you're the first Austrian to earn a PGA Tour card. You also represented Austria in the 2020 Olympics. How much pride do you take in that, Sepp?
A lot. Just growing up over there playing golf, just growing up watching Marcus Breer and Bernd Wiesberger kind of pave the road, and just following in their footsteps is really, really awesome. And I just hope I can make them proud.
And Sepp, big picture here, like past several months have been a wild ride for the game. A lot of good, including like the first season of Full Swing here on Netflix. What did you think of that? Were you able to watch it all?
I have watched a little bit of it. I haven't gotten around to watch all of it, unfortunately.
You're a busy dude. It's okay. I get it.
Yeah. I think it's great for the game. I mean, I'm more of a low profile guy probably, but I just think it's awesome to kind of showcase those stories behind the scenes, stuff that you don't really see on TV, and being able to tell those stories, I think will be great for viewership and for the tour in general.
Low profile guy, but what are the chances you're in season 2?
I don't know. I've not been asked to be in season 2 yet, so we'll see.
Would you want to be featured in a docuseries like this, though?
I probably won't seek it out. Like I said, I'm a low profile guy. I kind of try to stay behind the scenes a little bit. So yeah, if they ask me and it's a cool idea, I think I'll definitely be interested. But I'm definitely not going to seek it out.
All right, before you take off, MLB season just getting started here. We know you're a big Braves guy. So what are your expectations for him this season, dude?
I think it'll be fun to see. We got a couple of battles still going on, trying to get some position players out there. So yeah, I think it'll be great to see. We got a lot of young talent on the roster, like we have the last few years, and I think we'll win the East again, and I think we'll be able to, with our pitching, should be really good. I think we'll be able to make a run in playoffs.
We had one of our analysts here, Jared Carabas, yesterday says they're going to be the only 100-win team in baseball. I mean, they're poised to be a World Series contender here, Sepp, for a long time because so much of their core is signed to these team-friendly, like long-term deals here. Do you have a favorite player right now?
I've got a lot of favorite players, but I love Max Fried.
Yeah.
Max Fried's the man. Obviously, Acuna, him hitting a bomb there's nothing like it. It's electric. So he's up there. And yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of high expectations, which is new for the Braves. Really, I feel like we've been picked to finish second in the East the last 5 years, and we won just about every year. So
yeah,
it'll be it's fun to see how they handle that.
It's like you guys didn't even lose a game. It felt like in the second half of last season, it was such damn good baseball.
That was amazing.
Last one for you.
Especially that Mets series.
Yes.
It was incredible.
No, dude, there's nothing you guys love more than beating up on the Mets too, man. Your favorite all-time player, do you have one? Is it like a Chipper Jones who's from your neck of the woods there in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chipper's probably everybody's favorite Brave. Yeah. Andrew Jones was amazing too.
Yes.
Loved watching him. And honestly, Evan Gattis, he wasn't there for very long, but I loved watching him. No gloves, just taking a hack at it. So he was always one of my favorite players.
Sepp Straka, it was awesome to talk to you. Your job here is done. Thanks for hanging out with us during our Masters special here at DraftKings. We'll be rooting for you at Augusta. So thanks for hanging. Cheers, my dude. And we will see you next time, all right?
Sounds good. Appreciate you having me.
That was good stuff. Love
Thank you
that
so
from
much.
Emerson.
Worked really hard on that.
All right, guys, listen up. Every weekday, former Notre Dame teammates Mike Golick Jr., Brandon Newman, they get together. They gab about the hottest topics across sports and pop culture. It's called The Gojo Show, okay? And you can grab it wherever you consume your favorite podcast. That means Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you know. All right, plus, they're here with us right now. We are so happy to have you guys here. Usually we have you on to talk about football, right? Okay. But it's Masters Week, which draws the attention of sports fans, of people who aren't sports fans. It really just captures everybody's attention. There's a lot of green. I'm wearing green right now.
Yes, dude. You won.
Yeah. So what has you guys fired up, all right, about this year's edition of the tradition, unlike any other? Brandon, what's like the vibes? What are you feeling?
Woods, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sums it up.
Oh,
That's
really?
it. Okay.
No, a man, a few words. I'm just ticked off that I apparently have violated what I think should be St. Patrick's Day protocol, where if you're not wearing green during Masters Week on the sweat, people should be able to pinch you. I don't have anything from the Jim Nantz collection, so I had to settle for Cutter and Buck, but I would say I want to see if any of the live drama simmers, right? Yeah. Phil Mickelson looks terrible, has been playing terrible, isn't talking to the media at all in the lead up to it this week. Maybe we'll see if anything interesting came out of, the Masters dinner stuff. But all in all, I want to see if any of that really lands, because we know part of that's going to be predicated on, can any of those guys, Cameron Smith, Brooks Koepka and company, actually become factors in this tournament in a way that they all have kind of said out loud and admitted at this point we kind of need to further legitimize what we're doing from a golf standpoint.
It seems sacrilegious to say Tiger Woods is not a legitimate contender to win the Masters, Brandon, but how depressing is it to hear him say yesterday in the presser, I don't know how many more I have in me.
It's the obvious. It's the same thing about LeBron James, the same thing about Tom Brady, regardless if he's decided if he's retired or not. I think the real story here is probably Rory McIlroy, the white knight of the PGA. I think him being able to get over that Masters hump and win right now, where there is that live PGA beef and tiff going on, is important right now in the sport. And obviously winning the Masters is important to everyone. So that's why we would love to see Tiger, because we're all Legacy X. We all love nostalgia. We all want to say we were there when we saw it happen again. And if he even gets close, people are going to pat him on the back and thank God that we got a chance to see Tiger do it again the way he's been doing it. But I think the real story is Scottie Scheffler, obviously, but Rory McIlroy trying to chase him down.
Mike, how's your golf game looking these days? I know you have a tournament, right, with your dad every summer?
Yeah, we have the Golick Family Subpar Classic out in South Bend, June 25th and 26th. Everyone can check that out, golicksubpar.com, if you want to get involved. And so I just started getting back into the swing of things, pun fully intended, last week with Dad. Short game looking pretty good. Putting was suspect. The driver is what we got to fix right now. And so I know everyone always says you work from the hole back. I have chosen the opposite standpoint now, and I'm just going to try and hit bombs off the tee like the old Phil Mickelson used to, and then go from there.
Hell yeah, brother. Hey, Brandon, you live in Florida now. There's no excuse for you not to be out there multiple times a week, year around.
There's multiple kids that are the reason why I don't have time to just get out there and golf. Shouts out to you, Jesse.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So anyways, though, I am trying to be country club Brandon, trying to get out there on the links more. I'm much more dangerous with my wedge than I am anything else. Like at the Subpar Classic Scramble last year, I was fortunate enough that of the 18 holes on the beautiful course out there at Notre Dame, they used my ball once. They used my. I was positioned well. Like I was inspired to continue to in my old body understand the game of golf, and especially walking versus golf carts.
Yeah. Oh, so wait. Are you insinuating that you are pro walking?
Yes.
Absolutely. As much as steps you can get in while you're out there on the green, you better get out there and enjoy the scenery. They pay a lot of money for those greens.
What's wrong with walking?
Pay a lot of money.
What's wrong with walking, Mike? It's great.
And listen, and now this is PTSD for me. So Notre Dame, in addition to the Warren, where we have our golf tournament, it's the nice course. It's hosted senior PGA events before in South Bend. There's also a 9-hole beater on campus that we used to throw 30 racks in the rack of the golf cart with and just go and tear up when we were undergrads. And that was back when I was close to 300 pounds. And the one time we went out where it rained too much, where even that course was like, y'all can't take these carts out here and ruin the place, I decided, all right, we'll go ahead and walk this thing. I was wearing compression shorts. I had taken all the proper precautions walking in, and I walked out with 2 nickel-size holes burned into the side of my girdle here on the inside of my thighs and the corresponding marks to match it. I will never make that mistake again if I don't have to. It's not that I won't walk in certain situations. I've played nicer courses where that's the case, but if I've got the choice, I'm saving the limited energy I've got left in my low back to try and uncork something off the tee. I don't need it lugging my bag from hole to hole.
I just, I'm
was a
not,
great
I'm not
image.
a golfer either, and it's fun. Golf carts are fun. It's fun to just like
That's where you put the beers.
Yeah, and like you hang out and you chill. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right,
I'm a walking guy.
okay.
Oh,
We
well, I
get
do a
it.
push cart now too.
Great.
Because I put on a push cart, and then it's not as taxing, and then maybe your thighs aren't as stressed out as yours were.
Where do you put the beers then, though?
The beers,
Where do you put the
with
beers?
these upscale push carts, there are different compartments where you shove beers in there. I even have
Like
like
little
a
mules.
fridge bag.
Like
of
a
mine.
little
Put some ice
mule,
in there.
Brandon
It
says.
lasts all 18 holes.
Okay.
Crickets.
All right, guys.
No, we don't have
Okay,
any golfers
well,
in the back.
I have a question for you, Brandon. Where does
Yes.
going to the Masters rank as like a sports experience goal?
Oh goodness, why don't do this?
Come on.
Don't push me into the Two Americas thing and all the black caddies that's been in the Masters and all the terrible things I hear about Augusta.
Don't you wanna go?
Well, okay, I'll say this. Yes, of all of the places, it's very special. I want to go feel the things. I want to go see the painted tree leaves, and like I want the full experience at some point in time in my life. But I think I need to get deeper in the game of golf before it's up there on my bucket list.
Brandon, what I would tell you is, from my perspective, you just got to go for the snacks. During the pandemic, when people couldn't be at Augusta, they sent out these gift packs to a bunch of us that gave you the pimento cheese and all the things you need to make it at home. And after just having that in my kitchen, it sustained me for about a week. They fed a single 30-year-old pretty well. Going for that portion of it, going for the scenes and the vibes there. And honestly, at this point, I'm mad that I didn't go for the Triple Crown here during the spring. I went to Taylor Swift in Las Vegas 2 weekends ago, which is a sport, by the way, in a sports stadium. The next weekend, I went to WrestleMania 39, night 1 here in Los Angeles, which is a sport, and it's just one of the marquee entertainment events of the year. How did I not find a way to finagle myself down to Augusta and check out the Masters and go for 3 straight weeks of just sports bucket list items? Shame on me.
Yeah, you'd be like the Dollar Tree version of Jim Nance, and how he just like goes from the NCAA tournament to the Masters, man.
Instead of stepping onto a private jet from from Houston to Augusta, I'd be getting into coach in 36A on an American flight.
I was
Mike?
going to say, at least it's not as low as Spirit. That's okay.
I was going to say, if you want to give Sydney, your sister, your dad's credit card again, I think Taylor Swift's coming to Tampa.
No, because I think because your mom's. I think your mom's still maybe a little pissed off about that, because I think Sid used her credit card for the Taylor Swift tickets.
Thank you, Sydney.
Yeah.
Just a little dent. Might be paying that one off for a while.
I know the
right?
peach ice cream sandwich is back this year. And then last night, Champions Dinner here, you two, hosted by Scotty Scheffler.
Yep.
Here is a look at the menu. By the way, the cheeseburger sliders served Scotty
that
style.
mean?
So, found it on Instagram, found it on Twitter. Basically, the little cheeseburger sliders, and they put French fries on it with some kind
On
of
the burger?
On the burger, yes, which is a power move, just like you should put chips on every sandwich you eat. Mike, you win the Masters. What's on your Champions Dinner menu?
You know what? I thought a lot about this, and I was inspired by everyman basic king Scotty Scheffler, who really has taken the stock wheat character lifestyle to its maximum velocity. Scotty style, essentially being how people eat sandwiches in Pittsburgh, is a chef's kiss beautiful moment for him. That being said, I think it would be awesome for the Masters dinner to do hibachi. You bring all of the roll-in tables and you cook a full hibachi dinner.
The onion
Shrimp-fried
volcano.
rice, you got the miso soup. I mean, imagine the face on Max Homa when the onion volcano came out. I know he'd be thrilled to check that out. Some of the Brits might roll their eyes, but I think it would be a wonderful experience for everyone. And if you're the Masters champion, like if I was in that case, I'm built to absorb hibachi and keep moving. For some of the more in shape guys, now all of a sudden that's bogging them down a little bit. They're going to feel the hangover on that the next day, and it's going to leak into the par 3 competition, maybe even to Thursday when we tee it up. And so I think that's a little bit of gamesmanship too.
I just imagine 83-year-old Jack Nicklaus sitting there as like the chef's rolling out his cart and
Someone's
Pulling
eyebrows.
the shrimp into Jack
yeah.
Nicklaus's mouth.
Someone's eyebrows are getting burned off, and someone's getting the sake in their eyes.
Brandon, what's on your Champions Dinner menu?
Well, I actually have it right here. It's funny you bring it up. Brandon's Big Breakfast Dinner. The appetizers are Burger King crisp sandwiches or shrimp and grits. Then we go to a very odd choice, but the French onion soup with a Panera baguette. Then obviously for the dinner, it's oysters and pancakes, or filet mignon and eggs, and chicken and waffles, those type of options. Hash browns, only berry fruits, blackberry, raspberry, capote with the English muffin. And then for dessert, Cinnabons with the salt and straw ice cream catered.
My God,
So
dude, you are,
specific, and I love it.
you are making them work.
Yeah. But I kind of
Poor
actually.
people in the kitchen staff we don't have any of this.
But I just I feel like that it's become a thing now where it's like you have like a down home, like you're like, yeah, we're gonna do like something like burgers and like whatever. I love that you said I think the way to do it is just to be like Wagyu steak, lobster tail, like because everyone's like, look at me, I'm serving a sandwich.
Bring in Chick-fil-A nuggets for like
No,
appetizers.
I
and
would
stuff.
go
No.
like really bougie food across
Yeah.
the board.
This one cut of beef that you can only find in a Malaysian forest during several
Correct.
months of the year is
Yes.
being served.
And it's
If anyone's been to a catch, we all know that snow Wagyu hits differently.
Yeah, you do. It truly does.
LA
so do
Brandon just
Chick-fil-A
leaking
nuggets.
out like uncontrollably.
Chick-fil-A
I'll bring
nuggets.
Chick-fil-A nuggets
No,
to your kids'
You're
birthday
not
party in a
invited.
few
You're not
weeks.
invited. All right, finally, let's hand out those Gojo roses. Mike, who's getting it this week?
So I feel like for 1 week we can set the rose aside and make it an azalea since we are heading down to Augusta. So I will give mine to the one, the only Jim Nance, who hung up the cleats sort of calling March Madness, even though he is going to come back and apparently do the trophy ceremony every year, heading down there not only for a stellar career as what I think is a Mount Rushmore member of March Madness as a broadcast product, but also a man with his own Vineyard Vines line. I mean, if styled by Jim Nance is something I hope to one day have on a chyron describing me on some show. So my azalea goes to Jim Nance as he heads into Masters Week, dropping a Golden Girls line on the way out of his March Madness tenure.
I love that. Brandon, who's getting your rose?
I got to give it to Angel Reese, the creator
Yeah.
of content, the setter of the record for Big Ten doubles. Like I everything that she has given to us in this run via Caitlin Clark, and you got to give her flowers too. Those 8 threes were beautiful, especially those 2 back-to-back ones at the top of the key. Like I loved everything that was the women's side of the bracket and the women's tournament this year. But for Angel Reese to be at the top with the actual crown, talking her mess, and the reality that we get this this rivalry to possibly repeat next year again, because obviously Angel Reese sitting there as a sophomore and Caitlin Clark coming back. I think it's all beautiful. And shame on you, Dr. Joe Biden, for claiming to bring Iowa to the White House.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
They
That was
they walked that back real quick. Like last night or this morning, they're like the White House was like, "Oh no, she was just kidding.
was just joking."
Champions only."
Yeah.
Yo, that was sick too. 9.9 million people tuned into that game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, good for women's basketball, man. They've got some huge stars in this country right now. Gentlemen, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Enjoy hanging out and watching the Masters the next 4 days. So
You guys are great.
Yep.
Love you, mean it. We got Jeff coming back. We got Len coming back. We got Jason Sobel joining the party coming up. We're going to talk best bets like John Rahm here. How much noise can he make this weekend? 4 top 10s at the tournament since 2017, tied for the most in that span. Is this the year he finally breaks through? We'll discuss after this. All right, back here on the Sweat, a Masters special here. All eyes, a lot of people talking about this dude, Tiger Woods. Chasing history, right? Chasing Jack Nicklaus. He's making his second start of the season, which has us a little nervous. We spoke about the weather with Len and Jeff a little earlier. So this is going to be his first start since the Genesis back in February. Finished T45 there. Let's dive into it. Jeff's back. Len's back. Jason Sobel has joined the party. Good to have you here, Jay. I know you were at Tiger's presser yesterday morning. What was your biggest takeaway from that, and why was it the depressing fact of Tiger saying, I don't know how many more I have in me?
Yeah, look, he's been saying this for a while now, so it's nothing quite new, but I thought Tiger was more reflective in yesterday's press conference than we've seen him in a long time. Just grateful, thankful, happy to be here, happy to be competing, happy to be, quite frankly, alive and able to go out and enjoy this week. Talked about having putting games with his son Charlie, which he used to do with his father Earl when he was that age. And so there's just a whole lot of gratitude for Tiger Woods right now. But the one thing he didn't say, which he's been saying for 25 years, even through so many injuries and so many setbacks, is every time he was asked, do you believe you can win this week? Tiger's answer has always been, yes, that's why I'm here. I'm here to win. I didn't quite hear that answer this week. I think Tiger understands, and maybe because of the weather. Tiger knows it's going to be 50 degrees and raining here on Saturday. Maybe that's part of it, but Tiger, I think, understands that this is a week more for gratitude than for contending for a title.
All right, well, I mean, that may be true, but it's always fun to bet on Tiger doing something. Like, right? I mean, we're all rooting for him. It's great. So, Len, is there something that makes sense in this tournament? You can do a little sprinkle on Tiger here?
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here. More than usual. I want to amend something I said earlier. I did wonder if earlier in the show if Tiger could make the cut. I could see him making the cut. The worst weather is coming in Saturday and Sunday. What I really could see is if he has to play more than 18 holes on a certain day, that he could withdraw, as horrible as that is. But I think if there's any one play to make, it's to play Tiger to make the cut and root for that and hope he gets to the weekend and we can just enjoy what we see of him for
Jeff,
however long we have left.
Yeah, Jeff, what do you think?
Look, I get that Tiger is very limited. He's got, as he said himself, hardware in his leg. It's tough for him to get around courses, but lest I remind people, it's a player who won a major championship basically on like a torn knee, basically with one leg. So I think Tiger will himself into making the weekend. And I kind of agree with Len. Like, when we get to the weekend and the weather gets nasty, he may be a good fade target. Maybe you can find an under prop there. But the prop I like pregame here is over Tiger Woods, over 3.5 birdies for round one. Len just mentioned it. Thursday's not supposed to be that bad. The greens may even be a little bit soft. if you're going to target Tiger Woods for a solid round, do it early in the tournament while his leg is fresh, while he's fresh. Even last year, what did we see from him? The first round was pretty good. He fell off after and he had to scrape by and make the cut, but the first round was good. I think plus 105 for over 3.5 birdies for a guy who absolutely knows how to handle his way around the course is actually very fair.
Jason, what do you think? Is there maybe a prop you like for Tiger?
Yeah, so Jesse, I came into the week saying that I like Tiger for a top 40. He finished 47th last year, made the cut, and then struggled to a pair of 78s on the weekend. I said, and Tiger confirmed this. He's a year more removed from that near fatal car accident. He's a year healthier, and yes, he still can't practice as much as he liked, but I thought a top 40 was a nice wager. I believe that's at minus 170 right now. I have taken that back a little bit, walked it back just because of what I said earlier, that Saturday weather. Very cold, very rainy, very chilly. I don't think Tiger's going to enjoy that very much. I don't think that's going to play to his strengths at all. And so, look, if you can get Tiger as a made cut prop, I agree with Len and Jeff. He's 23 of 24, and the only missed cut that he's had was when he was an amateur way back when. And so, look, he makes the cut. He grinds to make the cut. It's one of the most admirable things about Tiger Woods as a player, and I think he will grind to make the cut once again this week. But it may not be great after that, just like last year.
Plus 900 to win the whole thing, but top of the board here, Jeff, Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. After finishing 1 and 2 last year, it appears they are the two favorites once again. Plus 650 for Scotty Scheffler, plus 750 for Rory. How likely is it that this tournament, this edition of the Masters, comes down to these two once again?
I mean, it's definitely well within the realm of possibilities. What did we just see at the match play? These two guys were on a collision course with each other until obviously they ran into a couple hot players. This isn't the match play. This is the Masters where people get grinded down after 4 rounds and the cream rises to the top. My only problem with betting those players is there's a lot of players in the 20 to 40 to 1 category in the outright market who have really started this season well and have shown that when they're on, they can take on these top players. Max Homa, even Jason Day, who had Scotty Scheffler down by 3 holes at the match play. Jordan Spieth certainly has the course odds in his favor this week. So again, it's not that I don't think that this will happen. I think that it's a very likely scenario where we see Rory and Scotty go at it again. But for betting, I would rather go down the list here and take a shot on players with longer odds.
What do you think here, Jay?
Look, I like Scotty. I like Rory. They're each of my top 6 on my rankings I have over at the Action Network. But the guy just below them, have we forgotten how good Jon Rahm is? If I am Jeff Koski, who's Rahm's manager, if I'm Adam Hayes, Rahm's caddy, I am walking into Rahm's rental house this week. I am printing out the DraftKings odds, and I am posting them to Rahm's refrigerator. So every time he goes to grab a little snack from the fridge, he sees, really? Okay, Scheffler's got lower odds than me, but Rory hasn't won a tournament this year. I have 3 of them. He's got shorter odds than me. Okay, let's get that back against the wall, that chip on his shoulder that helps Rahm, and usually Rahm plays even better when he has that going on. I love everything about Jon Rahm this week. I can give you some longer plays, but quite frankly, when you have a short play on the card, a single-digit number on the card for an outright play, you can't really go fishing too many other places. So Rahm is my guy this week, and I will stick with him.
Are we sleeping on Jon Rahm here, Len Hochberg? I know he's fallen off considerably from that amazing pace he was on to start the year.
Yeah, and we can remember just back last month to Bay Hill, he shot, 65 in the first round, and people were wondering, this is the beginning of a 10-year run of Jon Rahm as #1 in the world, and he shot 76 the next day, and he just hasn't been the same guy since. But yeah, to sleep on Jon Rahm is dangerous. I have him #3 in my rankings, but I don't think that's anything strange, and Scheffler and Rory 1 and 2 ahead of him. But yeah, I mean, if Jon Rahm won the tournament come Sunday night, or dare I say Monday, would not surprise me in the least.
All right, well, betting on the Masters doesn't have to be all about outrights, right? We got plenty of fun props that you can bet on as well. So, Len, what are some of those that you like this year?
I wish we could see some, I think I wish we could see some fun things with like Tiger versus Phil or Tiger versus Sergio or things like that. So I wish that we could be a little more fun this year with Liv and stuff like that. But I guess maybe Liv is not a joking matter. So, I think that, Siwoo Kim is a guy. I don't know if this is fun, but Siwoo Kim gets a lot of top 25s at the Masters, and I could see it happening again this year for him. Guys like that. If I'm looking one guy really far back who I think could win of all the guys, I think I might go as far back as Sung Jae Im at 45-1. I don't know if I'd go any farther back than that, and I barely go that far, but he's played very well here through the years and is really playing very well this year, quietly so, 6th at the Players.
All right, Jeff, what do you think? Any fun props that you're looking at?
Oh yeah, lots of props, Jesse. Sahith Theegala, let's start off with that. Top debutant, plus 550. Theegala, really solid on longer golf courses. Torrey Pines, Riviera, top 10, gained over 8 strokes tee to green in both those starts. Don't shy away from just because of the players stuff. Everyone just has a bad event there every now and then. Gordon Sargent is a really interesting name. You're probably going to learn more about him this week. Top 40 for Gordon Sargent is plus 165. This is an amateur who got a special invite from the Masters. He didn't qualify. He got invited. That happens like once a century. That's how good this guy has been, hitting it past Max Homa and Rory McIlroy and names like that in the practice round. So Gordon Sargent, top 40. I think those are actually very, very good odds for him. And then let's get really crazy, a little bit of Thursday action. Cameron Champ. Where does he play well? Len mentioned this early in the show. He plays well once a year, and it's at Augusta. He really dominates the par 5s here. Top 10 finish after round 1 for Cameron Champ is plus 800. I actually really like that. He made 7 birdies and an eagle in 2 rounds at the Valero last week. He did miss the cut.
Jason, which props are you looking at?
Okay, so Len stole one of mine and Jeff stole one of mine, but I'm going to say him anyway. First of all, Sung Jae Im, I love everything about him this week. I've got him for both the top 10, and if you go to the nationality props, either low Asian or low Korean this week, Sung Jae's got a runner-up finish and an 8th place finish among his last 3 starts at Augusta National. So I like him there. Low Liv player. How about that? Patrick Reed is my guy there. Nobody embodies what Liv is trying to do, being the bad guy, sort of playing that rival role. Then Patrick Reed. Cameron Smith came into the interview room the other day, kind of seemed a little skittish. Other players, Phil Mickelson even reportedly was very quiet at the Champions Dinner last night. Patrick Reed's going to puff out his chest, put on his 4 Aces hat, and go out there and get up and down from everywhere on this golf course. Really like Patrick Reed, and I like him to be low Liv. And then the last guy I was going to mention, I can't believe Jeff stole him, Gordon Sargent. This kid is really good. Max Homa said he played with him the other day. Max Homa's not short. Max Homa's a top 10 player in the world. Said Gordon Sargent was hitting it 30 yards past the entire group. This kid, if not for a top 40, I like him for low amateur. I think that's a smash play this week. That's a really good prop. Plus money on Gordon Sargent to be low am this week.
Less than a minute to go in the show. Time to do that thing we like. Your pick to win the Masters. Jason Sobel. Why is it John Rahm?
John Rahm because he's the best player in the world right now. I know Scotty Scheffler is the hottest player, but John Rahm leads in strokes gained total this season. He's doing everything really well. He's going to win this week.
Jeff Ulrich.
I'm going to stick with my guy in Tony Finau. I really like the chances for Jason Day and Max Homa, but Tony Finau, to me, has come into his own over the last 10 months. We have seen some absolutely monster performances, and just because he's been quiet to start the year, don't discount the fact that this guy is just as talented as any of the top players in the world. I think Tony Finau shows it this week, and I think he gets his first major.
Len Hochberg, your pick to win the Masters.
What are we going to talk about next year after Rory McIlroy wins the Masters this year and completes the career Grand Slam?
Amazing. All right, good stuff, guys. Appreciate the time.
Great
As always, that's
special.
the show. More to come on the slate this evening. Emerson, Jeff's going to join you. Nick Fryer, talk more Masters.
Yes,
we'll be
Jeff.
back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.